You're listening to the Everyday Astrology Podcast. I'm Hilary Scott, your astrologer, and I'm here to bring you the current planetary conditions. We have a whole bunch going on right now, especially because we're on the heels of the eclipse portal through Scorpio on October 24th. Heading up to the eclipse, Saturn has gone direct. Venus has shifted from Libra into Scorpio, and there's been a conjunction between Venus and the Sun that marks a really important shift from 100 years of these conjunctions in Scorpio energy to the next 100 years being the conjunction in Libra energy. It traces this beautiful kind of flower pattern through the cosmos, which is why it ends up having circling back into the same sign for so long. But now we are going to be having this experience with Venus in Libra, which it's very comfortable in. So you might feel, because it's shifted now, you might feel like a really hopeful sense of harmony and things that you value kind of falling into place in a way. That's the Venus in Scorpio transitions that we've experienced are very dramatic and filled with scorpionic type energy. So it can be power struggles and issues of abandonment and betrayal and like the deep, dark abuse and having to dig deep into the subconscious and the very kind of dark, murky, difficult facts of life, like birth and death and these things that we don't want to always face the reality of, is very Scorpio. So now we can kind of be done with that energy. Though, I mean, we've just had the Sun and Venus and everything move into Scorpio right now with our energy here. So it is a very scorpionic time, but as we go forward, when the conjunction happens with Venus and the Sun, we're going to experience it with the Libra energy, which is very like peace-seeking and harmonious and lovely, like a kind of energy that wants the best for everybody and wants to understand all the sides of the story. And it's very justice-seeking. So I think that's so hopeful and will make us feel so much better as we go forward in this very complicated, accelerated time. So that happened on the 22nd of October, it's called Cazimi, Venus Cazimi the Sun, and it's when the energies are fusing in a conjunction. So it's like very uplifting, fortunate energy that can bring you what you value or help you to clarify what you value and maybe give you some lucky breaks in situations. The same day, Saturn will go direct, which so now we're already into this energy as I'm speaking about it a couple days in, and it's a very like you understand where you're going and what you're doing, and you're willing to put in the discipline necessary to achieve your goals. Saturn going direct is powerful. It's in Aquarius, and it gives us this opportunity to maybe move forward very deliberately and possibly in a detached way as well, so that we're not feeling so burdened by the attachment to the past. It does give us like a reset point. This whole situation is very much like we're going through right now is like a reset in a sense that now we can begin this new phase of our existence. We can leave the past behind and we can move into this very exciting, powerful, transformative, and also just time in our lives. So things are very much changing. Now, the Sun and Venus did move into Scorpio on Sunday the 23rd, and that is, again, it's going to have moved from Libra into Scorpio, which is very dramatic. Scorpio is intense, so things are intense. There's definitely no doubt about it that whatever's going on around you might have sort of like an urgency or a transformative quality. There's also like desiring and acquiring the object of your desire, whatever that might be, like being very intense about what you value and what you want to bring into your life, but can also bring things into your life. There is an element when the eclipse occurs, which will be exactly on Tuesday the 25th at 4 a.m. Pacific Daylight Standard Time. So depending on where you are is when it will be exact, but you can definitely feel that we are going through pivotal times. Things are changing. So depending on where this is in your own chart, you'll have to kind of keep an eye on what parts of your life are changing. And if we are changing, eclipses affect society as a whole as well. So I do believe with the new moon Scorpio energy, it's unearthing secrets, keeping and bringing to the light of day that which is hidden, not being able to like hide in the shadows anymore. Instead, like this exposure of all that is dark and hidden out of our view. So it can be difficult because if you are the sort that doesn't want to look at what's going on around you, when energies like this occur, it can be like a slap in the face. But if you kind of get careful with your heart, you'll see that you actually saw what was going on all along. Whether or not you were willing to go there and deal with it is a whole other thing. But the eclipses ensure that you will keep on evolving and keep moving toward the next best version of your greatest life. So instead of like trying to control, which is very Scorpio, you might feel like, oh, I got to control everything. Now is a wonderful time to surrender and just be present and conscious and aware of what is happening and what is unfolding around you, because it's very likely that it was initiated some time ago and now it's just the results of that. And even more so coming up on November 8th when we have the lunar eclipse, the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. But this is a powerful time. Time is very weird when you're going through the eclipse portal for the next 2 weeks. Like things are accelerated, change is accelerated. Ideas, situations, people that need to be a part of your next storyline will come into your life. People that don't need to be there anymore are gone now or are going to leave your life in some way. So I think it's tricky because we want to hang on. And the Scorpio energy is especially very, like, it's very loyal and dedicated and will hang on with you to the very end. So if that's not appropriate, then it's just going to be kind of like hanging on to a rotting body. Oh gosh, that's an awful image. Very scorpionic. But it is a good time, really very well time to go digging and pull up and unearth the things that are holding you back. I was actually very fortunate and I had a friend of mine come and help me kind of sort through things. I had like things all piled up in the garage that needed to be dealt with, and just sort of, I was like lost in this overwhelm of how to sort through everything. It's been like a very kind of difficult time this last 6 months, this last 3 years. It's been very difficult, and then the confusion sets in and you can't really make forward movement. So I was so lucky to have one of my best friends from when I was like 11 years old come and help me sort through everything. And like even my pantry has been put in order because my friend came and helped me. And I'm so grateful for that. So hopefully you have someone that you can help you kind of see and sort through whatever you're going through. Or maybe you're that person for someone else as well. Because it's such a, like, we give what we want to get. And that, I'm sure, is the sort of energy that we all would like when we need help, is for someone to show up and help us through it. So it's that sort of, not just any friend will show up in those times. This friend of mine is a Cancer with a Scorpio moon and a Virgo rising, which was like the perfect energy to be able to dig through things and be there in difficult energy. Because it's not like your superficial buddy who will show up and be like, yeah, let's dig into your pantry and like figure out what you need to get rid of. So I'm grateful for that I've got a friend like that in my life. And gosh, I hope we all end up with friends like that. So this eclipse, just be conscious, be aware that it can be a very tricky energy, but we are coming up to like powerful pivotal changes. Saturn has also gone direct. That's like a big shift in energy. On the 29th, we're going to have Mars, or no, it's the 30th. Mars is going to go retrograde, and it's going retrograde for a long time. It'll make Mars basically have been in Gemini for 7 months when the whole process is finished. So Mars retrograde in Gemini, there's a lot you can learn. If you need to learn a lot really fast, this should help you do it, because you'll be able to go inward where you can process information and then be able to process a lot of information. It could also kind of like cause, because it's Mars energy, it could cause sort of a combative inner feeling. You might be a little like anxious, or it obviously, depending on where it's going down in your own chart, is where the action will be. So have a look at your chart to figure out where's Mars, where will I be experiencing this Mars retrograde, because it makes a difference to know. It's helpful because you can kind of see and focus on what's going on in that area. With the new energy of Venus, the Sun, Mercury will also be going on the 29th, will be going into Scorpio. So it's very scorpionic energy. It's very like we can really dig deep and figure out where the bodies are buried and understand new truths and kind of be able to sit with uncomfortable ideas, or maybe own up to things that we would have never been able to take responsibility for before. And we really do all create our own reality, and the situations that we're experiencing are sort of reflections of what we're going through. So remember, you can transform that. You can shift your perspective and shift your understanding, and therefore transform and shift everything that's going on in your life. And with the eclipse portal, there really isn't much you can do. It's a more of like ride the wave, stay very present, make sure that you understand. Journal is really good. Keep track of what your thoughts are. Keep track of the events and the situations that are occurring. Try to connect them back to end of April into May and see how those energies are connected. It's a very good time to look at what's occurring around you rather than try to change what's occurring around you at this point. Just sort of like hang tight and be conscious and go with the flow and be very discerning. Use your intuition as well, because this is very powerful scorpionic energy, and Scorpio has incredibly powerful intuition. So you do want to be like tuned into that, listen to that, be aware of that. And we're coming up to the total lunar eclipse, which is a full moon in Taurus on the 8th. So this next 2 weeks is really pivotal. Things are very different. Our energies are changing, and it's hopeful and fortunate and lucky, and like, not that it's not going to be difficult. It could also be very difficult, because what might come up might be shocking and difficult material to deal with. So you're going to have to want to be brave enough, which you of course are, to face what's coming up and deal with it. It can trigger our insecurities, our self-worth issues, our distrust, our feelings of being deceived or abandoned. All of that stuff is really ripe and floating over the energies of the cosmos. Is that this is the soup we're floating in right now. So just be sure that you are capable of handling this, and that this is all a transformation that is taking you to the next best version of your best life. And if you can keep that perspective in mind and always come from your heart and follow your intuition, there's no way that you can go wrong. So that is it for this update. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you many bright blessings for your productive, protected, peaceful time of transformation.